Welcome, and thank you for joining us to learn more about Logistec's brand guidelines. Over the next 15 minutes, we'll talk about how Logistec uses branding to promote its company image, go over the brand elements that you will be using most often, and show you the tools that are available to help. We will also talk about good habits to develop when using Logistec's branding in your day-to-day work.
So this guide will tell me what I can and can't do with Logistec's logo, and what shade of orange I should use?
Yes, but branding is a lot more than that. A logo is what we call a brand element. As you would expect, other brand elements include colors and fonts. But branding also includes things like photos, slideshows, graphs, and maps. Our branding is how we introduce Logistec to the outside world and helps us build strong relationships with clients, partners, and employees. For Logistec, our brand has a strong link to our operations. This means that the equipment, vehicles, and clothing at our terminals also need to be consistent.
This sounds like a lot to remember. How am I going to manage all this in real life?
It's a lot easier than you think, and you have templates and guidelines to help you. Plus, once you're familiar with the brand guide, it will save you a lot of time and effort in your day-to-day activities. We've built our brand elements along three main themes: clear, simple, and consistent. Think about some of the biggest brands you know, like Starbucks, Google, and Maersk. Their logos, colors, and visual style are immediately recognizable, whether you see it in print, on a digital platform, or in person.
Okay, I understand. The goal of our brand guide is to do the same for Logistec so that our branding looks professional and is the same throughout the company.
That's right. And to make our guidelines easy to use, they are organized so that each brand element works together, step by step. Let's start with a straightforward example about fonts and use PowerPoint slides as a model. Fonts come in all shapes and sizes. It's tempting to play around with different styles, but it becomes distracting for your audience. At Logistec, we keep our fonts simple. We use block letters so that our writing is easy to read, whether it's on a website, on the side of a forklift, or on a piece of clothing. Our two standard fonts are Arial and Verdana. They are widely available and external suppliers can easily reproduce them.
So I should use these fonts in my presentations, stationery, reports, and other documents?
Exactly.
That was easy. What's next?
Let's talk about color palettes and use this graph as an example. Logistec's corporate colors come from our logo, orange and black. Black is pretty easy to manage, but as you can see, our distinctive shade of orange needs a little extra attention. In our brand guide, you will find a color palette with specific color values for Logistec Orange. This includes RGB values, which you may recognize from PowerPoint and other Microsoft software. We also have colors for other purposes. CMYK and Pantone are printing standards. Hex is for websites, and RAL is used when painting equipment.
How will I know which one to use?
In PowerPoint, the colors are already programmed into our standard templates. And when you're working with a supplier, you can give them a copy of the brand guide or ask questions at branding@logistec.com.
Makes sense, but I'm going to need more than just orange and black.
Very true, and that's why we've also provided 3 shades of gray that complement Logistec Orange. If you need another color as an accent, we've also provided specific shades of navy blue and green.
I get it, because we're both a maritime and an environmental company.
You got it.
What about our other brands? Some of them don't use orange or black.
Each of our subsidiaries and joint ventures has its own color palette. You can also choose accents from the Logistec corporate palette.
Perfect. And what about the logos? Are they in the guide?
I'm glad you asked. Guidelines for Logistec's cargo handling and port logistics brands are each included. Before we get into the specifics of each brand, remember our 3 themes: clear, simple, and consistent. Let's start with the Logistec logo as an example. The hook, the solid orange bar, and the stenciled lettering all represent a part of our company history. Stretching or shrinking the logo to fit a non-rectangular space makes the lettering and hook distorted.
So is the Logistec logo always a rectangle?
Yes, and this rectangle should keep the same proportions as the original. When using a company logo for any purpose, it needs to respect proper height to width ratio. In most Microsoft programs, you can keep the shape intact by holding the Shift key when you resize. Once you have your shape in place, we also have a minimum amount of clear space around the logo. This gives the logo room to breathe, especially in situations where there is more than one logo involved.
Like when we sponsor a local event or a charity.
That's correct. Clear space has to be empty, and no other text or graphics can appear within this area. For the Logistec logo, clear space is calculated proportionally using the O in Logistec's name. Above and below the logo, leave a space equal to 1 O. To the right and the left, leave the space of 2 O's. No matter how big or small the logo gets, the clear space grows and shrinks with it.
So I can use the same guidelines for a poster as I would for a business card?
Precisely. And remember, you can share Logistec's brand guidelines with your suppliers when needed.
What about our other logos? How do we calculate clear space for them?
Each logo uses a relevant letter or similar element to calculate clear space, but the principle is the same. They all work proportionally.
What about the signature line on Balterm and Crossglobe that says a member of the Logistec group? It can get pretty small on a business card. Can I just remove the extra text?
You can't remove graphics or text from any of our logos. It's true that the signature line can get small when used on stationery or promotional items, but this is okay so long as the proportions are otherwise correct. Here are some examples of why signature lines, colors, graphics, and text are all a part of our logos and should not be changed.
I see what you mean.
And several of our logos are trademarked, so it's also important to preserve their appearance for legal reasons. It's about being clear, simple, and consistent.
So now that I have my shape and clear space sorted out, what background colors are available?
The brand guide offers suggestions, but in some cases, your background color will clash with our logos or make them difficult to see clearly.
Yeah, some of these don't look so great. So what do we do?
In these cases, you can use a monochrome version of our logo, all black or all white. This is particularly useful on equipment and vehicles when you may not have a choice about the manufacturer's background color. Because our distinctive shade of orange is a key part of our brand, Logistec also has a monochrome orange logo, but this is only available for Logistec, not our other brands.
Excellent. So that covers the basics of how to use our logos. Should I go back and change logos at the terminal that don't meet the new guidelines?
Yes and no. Because we haven't made any design changes to our logos, you don't need to replace items that are still in good condition. Use the new guidelines as you replace your current stock.
So if I have envelopes and giveaways at the office with an outdated design, I should keep using them until I run out? Then I can order new ones with the correct look.
Yes, and the same thing goes for equipment and vehicles. Keep the new standards in mind when you make repairs or repaint as part of normal maintenance.
Very practical. Can I finally start branding now?
Absolutely. One of the first things you can do is update your email signature using the templates provided on our intranet. Simply copy them and input your contact information. Call the IT help desk if you need a hand.
Great, and I'll add some extra graphics too.
Not quite. Remember our themes: clear, simple, consistent. Stick to the templates provided so that your signature matches Logistec's standards. This also helps minimize the size of your emails, since images and formatting can accumulate quickly.
Okay, makes sense. How about some other examples?
Our official network map is available on the intranet as both an image and a PowerPoint slide. There are several versions to choose from.
And I see that they use the same colors and fonts that we saw earlier.
That's right, and this is also true for PowerPoint templates, which cover Logistec as well as our other brands. Our standard slides include photos, graphs, and tables.
It doesn't have a lot of graphics or bright colors. Can I jazz it up?
Generally speaking, less is more with PowerPoint. Clip art and stock images that you download from the internet are often subject to copyright, so try to avoid them. Also, there are a lot of special effects available to alter logos, images, and text. These draw attention away from where it belongs, on you and the content of your slides.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. The fonts and logo are off-brand, and these photos don't represent our business very well. The branded version is clear and simple. And because the company templates all come with their own photos and color schemes, it's going to save me a lot of work on my next presentation.
That's the plan. And speaking of photos, remember that pictures are also a part of the Logistec brand. You can use full-page pictures from our corporate photo library to show off our operations. We discuss photography and video in the social media policy, so look there for HSE reminders. Also, keep in mind that photos used for communications and branding should be checked for lighting, focus, framing, and other cosmetic features. A picture is truly worth 1,000 words, and we want to show our operations and our people in the best possible way.
Yes, I know some cool tricks in Photoshop that make them look like paintings or comic books.
In keeping with our themes for clear, simple, and consistent branding, we ask that you not make significant changes to photographs. Please avoid elaborate effects or flashy recoloring. Corrections and touch-ups are okay, and you can convert them to black and white. Sometimes a simple crop is all you really need. In this example, we've put the photo in the background to make room for a few lines of text. We also zoomed in closely on the wind cargo.
Okay, but I take a lot of pictures with my phone. What if I really need a photo of something and the only one I have isn't that great, even after I make a few corrections?
If you are making an internal presentation or using the pictures for discussion purposes with your coworkers, that's fine. But if you're speaking to an outside audience, such as customers or partners, contact us at branding@logistec.com. We might have a nicer photo on file that meets your needs. Also, if you have a photo that you are really proud of, such as this one, please send it to us. We're still building our company photo library and need your help. You might even see your photo on social media or the cover of the annual report.
Sounds good. I like taking pictures of our operations in action.
Which brings us to branding on equipment and vehicles. When our company colors and logos are featured on large pieces of machinery, it makes a bold statement.
But how do you put a logo on a crane or a forklift?
The same way we discussed earlier, with an accurate shape, adequate clear space, and an appropriate background color. Clear, simple, consistent.
And it's up to my team to select whether to use paint, stencils, or a decal. Plus, I can give a copy of the brand guide to my local suppliers.
Exactly. And don't forget our color palettes. They include RAL and other standards to help you match our logos.
And if the background color doesn't fit with the logo, I can use monochrome black or white.
Excellent.
But what if I really want to use a full color logo on a background that doesn't match, like on a red, yellow, or orange piece of equipment?
In these cases, you can put the full color logo into a plain white rectangle. This way, the background fits the logo colors. Just remember to use clear space and avoid fancy formatting on the rectangle.
Just to be sure that I understand, the colors, clear space, and logo shape are the same for most items. So promotional items and gifts follow these rules as well?
Absolutely. And we encourage you to provide your supplier with a copy of our brand guide so that they have the logo specifications and colors they need. You also have the option of contacting us at branding@logistec.com to order promotional items and gifts through head office. There are a number of choices over and above what is featured in the brand guide.
What about clothing?
Clothing requires a little more attention to detail. The embroidery on t-shirts, polos, and jackets should be adjusted according to the background color. Remember that you can use all black or all white when the full color logo doesn't fit with the garment. Same goes for outdoor clothing. And on black coats and jackets, you also have an additional logo option, white lettering with an orange bar.
A lot of us prefer black coats, and that orange bar will help my team be more visible on the terminal when it's crowded.
That's why we've allowed an exception to our standards, but only for black outdoor clothing. This logo can't be used for anything else.
Got it. Are there any other exceptions?
Just one more. Because health and safety is such an important part of our company culture, it's also an important part of our brand.
I remember that from when we spoke about photos.
Right, and when using our brand on personal protective equipment, safety comes first. PPE should use appropriate colors, and when needed, our logo can be printed as a reflective item.
So it could be bright yellow, but only on vests, helmets, and safety gear.
Correct.
This has been really helpful, but what if I have questions later?
The brand guide is available on our intranet, along with the templates we discussed earlier. You can also contact the communications team at branding@logistec.com or 1-866-330-5776 if you would like advice for a specific project.
Thanks, and have a great day.